Hail Baruch Levi, be here from the Defiant Spirit. Thanks for tuning in and giving me some of your time to share with you a little bit about what's going on here at the Defiant Spirit, um, my counseling, my coaching program that I offer, and particularly Defy Your Number using the Enneagram and the work of my teacher and mentor, Dr. Viktor Frankl, to help people, as I say, discover deeper meaning in their life, greater purpose for their life, and really cultivating resilience. And so I work with people all day, every day, both individually and as organizations or businesses, utilizing these two great systems. And so this week, I did a podcast one on the Enneagram and one on some of the work of logotherapy. I'm a logotherapist. That's the work of Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning and Say Yes to Life, and 40 other books. And so I just did two separate podcasts so you can listen to both of them. I think they're both pretty worthy and will bring you a greater sense of meaning and help you find your purpose. And that's what I do. I really believe with every ounce of my being that that's a need. Dr. Frankl talks a lot about the difference between his school of psychotherapy and Freudian psychotherapy in a nutshell. Freudian psychoanalysis came down to our desire, our need to gain pleasure and avoid pain. And another school of psychotherapy, one of Freud's students, Adler, said, we're really here to gain power, to be in control, and to avoid being powerless. And Frankl said, although those things are true, they're not needs, they're wants. But our need, according to Frankl, logotherapy, and the work that I do, is that our need is meaning. And this is what I've seen over and over again. What we need at the center of our lives, I don't care what we're facing. I have guided people through every imaginable, what I call life's T's, transitions, tests, trials, traumas, tragedies. What we need is meaning. We can get through anything if we have meaning. What that meaning is, that's another conversation, and that's the work that we do. And meaning is unique to you. It's your meaning. It's your purpose. I can't tell you what it is, but I can walk beside you and help you discover it. And you can and you will discover meaning in any and every given set of circumstances. There is not a single circumstance that you can't find meaning, your meaning, and yours alone. And that's some of the amazing work of Dr. Frankl, because he did this in the Holocaust. He did this in 4 different concentration camps. He did this having watched his wife and his unborn child and his parents and his brother and his friends and his family, his community murdered. And he found meaning in it. He discovered his meaning, and he translated that into a purpose. And that purpose is Man's Search for Meaning, is this work. And so there's a podcast on there about some of the tools and techniques that Dr. Frankl created. One is called Paradoxical Intention. The other is called De-Reflection. And I talk about that in layman's terms in there. But then the other side of the coin for me is the Enneagram, because the Enneagram, it's an ancient roadmap, personality typing system that allows me in a practical way, as we say in Hebrew, tachlis, is a practical way to translate meaning in my life. I love the Enneagram because it is a roadmap. Here's what you do. Here's why you do it. So now let's reverse engineer that and figure out, if this is what I'm doing, and is it leading to my meaning? Is it leading to my purpose? Or is it taking me away because I'm going down a path of fear? I'm getting smaller. Dr. Frankl will call it, I'm feeling reduced. So the Enneagram shows us where we become reduced, where we become smaller, where we become imprisoned, or as Dr. Frankl said, we end up in our own inner concentration camp. We end up behind a sealed wall of our own making, or we allow other people to put us in that prison. And the Enneagram shows us where we go when we're in fear, where we go when we're not living our meaning, not finding our purpose. And so it's a roadmap to show you your way out. So what I've been doing over the past few weeks is taking my Enneagram system based on Frankl's work called Defy Your Number, because Frankl would never have subscribed to the Enneagram if it was taught as you are an Enneagram 1 or a 2 or a 5. You are not an Enneagram 3. You are you. You are, Frankl would say, the nous, the spirit. You are beyond any number. You are beyond that um, that way you get stuck in your life. That's not who you are. That's what you do. You are the defiant power of the human spirit. The Enneagram truly is that. It's not reducing you to a number. You're not an Enneagram 3. However, this is where you go when you're in fear. This is where you go when you're scared, when you're reaction, as Frankel would say. And so I show people how to see their lives through the lens of reaction or response. Reaction is fear, response is faith, love, courage, whatever you want to call it. And so this week we looked at a few things, but the last couple of weeks we've looked at Enneagram through the movies, and so it's fun. Like, it doesn't just have to be serious and heavy and difficult. And so over the past, I think now we're up to Enneagram 4. I've gone through each Enneagram type through the lens of movies, and I thought about doing that just because of the Academy Awards a few weeks ago, and it just reminded me the centrality, the importance of movies, of stories in our lives. And oftentimes we think in terms of stories. We live in terms of stories. That's stories are sticky. They're with us. We read the Bible in the Jewish tradition, and the parts that aren't story are the parts that people just sort of start falling over, keeling over around, because it's hard. It's hard to navigate through the facts or through the details. But when you get into the story, like, these are transcendent stories that withstood the test of time. Well, I think that that's what modern movies are. In many ways, they're storytelling. And so seeing the Enneagram through the lens of story. So this week, and I did Enneagram 4, the individualist, and these are the artists among us. So if you go over to the podcast, you can do it on YouTube, and you can see, obviously, the slides. But if you go over to my website, you can download the slides under the podcast section, and we go through some of the individualists, also known as the romantic, and how they look in movie or characters or TV characters. So some of them that I talked about, Pulp Fiction, I think, is a very 4 movie. Edward Scissorhands, if you remember Edward Scissorhands, I've just blanked on the director, the producer of it, but he was a 4. And certainly Johnny Depp is a 4. Johnny Depp plays usually a 4 character. So if you really want to kind of get into a 4, Johnny Depp. I saw that The Outsiders. How many of you like The Outsiders? One of my favorite all-time books and movies. And what a cast of characters, right? I just saw it had its 40th anniversary. It's like, oh my God, we're getting old, aren't we? And so I thought about The Outsiders. And The Outsiders is a very 4-ish movie, but Ponyboy Curtis, all 4, right? Reads poetry and his context and his world, which was really unheard of. So Ponyboy Curtis, if you want to kind of experience a 4. I'm looking at these pictures right now. What's his name? I just blanked on his name. Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr., definitely a 4, right? Just 4s are complex individuals. I think Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy is a 4. There's just a lot of suffering underneath the surface. Sometimes they express the suffering, sometimes they don't. They hold it close to their heart, their chest. But so many great artistic 4 movies. So that's this week. You can jump over there. You can listen to the podcast. Last week was Enneagram 3. I think I did a video. I think I did a Facebook Live on it, but I can't remember. But there's definitely a podcast and a video around Enneagram 3, the Achiever, and of course 1 and 2 are there for you. So we're just going to keep on marching on with the Enneagram at the movies until we finish all 9. And so every week I do a podcast on the Enneagram, but I also do one on the work of Dr. Frankel and how to discover meaning and purpose. So again, the 2 work hand in glove. Frankel logotherapy is really all about discovering your meaning, your purpose, or as he called it, your why. Those who have a why to live for can endure anyhow, quoting Nietzsche. So that's the why. The Enneagram's the how. How do I live out my why? Where do I go? What do I do? I need practical application. I need a roadmap. And the 2 work, again, hand in glove. You can get it all over at defiantspirit.org. You can also get my free ebook. And it's a real book. I mean, it's like 20 pages, jam-packed with pictures, with insights around the Enneagram, 9 different types. If you don't know your Enneagram type, it's a great way to do it. It's free to just go through all 9 types and decide for yourself which one really speaks to you. And again, as you go through it, think about, how do I react and how do I respond? Because that's what the Enneagram is all about. And so go through that ebook. It's called Defy. It's called Nine Types. Walk into a bar, and you'll just be in a bar scene situation, and you can find your particular type. And then you can go watch the Enneagram at the movies to really bring it to life. And you decide. And if you don't know your type and you still can't find it, reach out to me. I would love to offer you an Enneagram assessment. And it's a paid assessment, and then I will coach you through it at one time or as often as you want. So, truly a remarkable system that will bring you a deeper sense of meaning, a greater sense of purpose, and help you cultivate resilience in a world that deeply and desperately needs resilience. So, until I see you over at defiantspirit.org, defy your number, live your spirit. Take care.